Hello YouTube, it's Supernova back with more combat mission Battle for Normandy. And we're starting a new scenario called Bloody Dawn. Let's take a look at the situation. 0630, 26 July 1944, northwest of Saint-Lô. After the infantry's success yesterday in breaking through the German front line, General Collins has given the order that 2nd Armoured Division is to commence the main breakthrough for Operation Cobra. Our combat command is due to take Saint-Gilles later today. However, according to the boys from the 119th Infantry, up ahead, the road to Saint-Gilles is blocked by about a company of German infantry. Mission. Your mission is to clear the entrance into the town and then secure the road intersection at the far end of the town in order to allow the passage of the remainder of 2nd Armoured Division. This town is right in the middle of the most direct route to Saint-Gilles. We need to clean out the enemy forces and secure the town to allow the rest of our division to maintain its momentum. Desired end state. Town cleared of enemy forces. 2nd Armoured elements in possession of the intersection at the south end of the town, or south end of town, and 2nd Armoured elements ready to continue offensive operations. Friendly forces. The 119th Infantry will take the lead. You have F Company, 2nd 119th Infantry available at the start, along with many of H Company's heavy weapons and the Battalion Pioneer Platoon. Our force from the 2nd Armoured Division consisting of 8 tanks from the 67th Tank Battalion and A Company of 1st 41st Armoured Infantry will be coming down the road in about 30 minutes. You have access to the fires of a 4-gun battery from the 118th Field Artillery at the start of the mission as well. Enemy forces. The enemy is believed to consist of infantry from the 275th Infantry Division. Our infantry gave them a whacking yesterday, so they should be fairly beat up. However, they are also probably heavily armed, so be warned. Plan. The operation to take the town will consist of 2 phases. Phase 1 to be conducted by F 2nd 119th Infantry and supporting elements. Seize the entrance into town in order for the 2nd Armoured tanks to make an impact. They need to be able to join with the main road. Clean out any units in the vicinity that pose a threat to our armour to allow them freedom of manoeuvre in the town itself. Phase 2 to be conducted by A 1st 41st Armoured Infantry and supporting elements. Clear the rest of the town using close cooperation between tanks and infantry. Conduct a passage of lines with the 119th, who should be in possession of the northern part of the town, in order to continue the attack south. Notes: scenario designed by Field Marshal Blucher, to be exact. Okay, let's have a look at what we have to do here. So objective: seize the intersection 500 and more than 70% enemy casualties, 500 points, total 1000. Support available: 3 M2 60mm, 2 M1 81mm and 4 tubes M2 A1 105mm. Reinforcements: 20 to 40 minutes, armoured infantry and tanks and mortars. Guessing others, well, it could be, I suppose, the 60s. Maybe coming together with the reinforcements. Okay, let's take a look at the map. Okay, now this is going to be... Let's see if I can figure out what we've got. 3 platoons of infantry, I believe. Pioneers. And jeeps and lorries. 2.5 tons. Okay, so there's no armour involved here, so it's all going to be infantry. How are we going to do this? Come through that gap and attack through that flank. I don't want to go down the centre. Could we get down this? Find the kind of could, but we'd still be crossing an open ground. So there is an awful lot of open ground to cover. Again, I really don't like going through there. Do we have an OFO with us? I can't spot one. We got some HMGs. Oh, 230 cals and 3 M60s. But if we come down this flank, we don't really. I suppose we have the pioneers. We could blow gaps in the hedgerows, but I like the idea of getting into this ploughed field and open up flanking fire and blowing a gap here. Or even a little further along the road to get into these buildings. Start working our way laterally like that. Windows, windows, windows. Yeah, that was pretty good. I think that looks like a... I'm not going down the centre, that's just going to be... it's going to end badly. Going down the left is an awful lot of open ground to cover. I could smoke it to a certain extent, but there's still a lot of frontage, and I would end up biting off the whole of that centre. I could try coming along through that left flank there, but that still leaves me in an awkward spot. But we could end up marooned in these buildings here. That's a problem. Could end up just with a foothold there, but we've got the 30 cals. I could work over these buildings. We've got about 30 minutes in order to be able to do this, to pass the armoured infantry through. The plan for the armoured infantry would come once I had a clear idea of what was going on in the town here. Could set up some decent, I would hope, some decent 5 positions. I don't see why that wouldn't work. And then the second stage would be pushing through here. Now I could do it in two stages. I could use one platoon with the 30 cals with a view to setting up 5 positions here and pinning down the enemy, and also at the same time getting into this building here, getting into these buildings here, plural. So we'll have a frontal attack there. Could possibly work a second platoon. See, ideally I would use a second platoon on the left. So get into the rear of these buildings and back into the rear of the town, and then hold one platoon back as reserve, but they're so far separated, that would be the concern. So one platoon from the right, one platoon from the left, and holding a platoon in reserve. What can I do here in terms of... The only thing I could really do is to lay a smoke screen down here. hit it hard with the 105s after, I think the longest delay is 15 minutes. Get them on the right up in 15 minutes. Artillery on the first line of buildings. I wish I had one more battery of 105s. .360s. Good smoke screen across here. Infantry in around the back, but again you're looking for a door. There's a door there. Is there on the other side? There is indeed. So that would get me in on that side. That's a good question. Am I going to do everything on the right? Am I going to split one platoon onto the left with a reserve platoon left in the centre? I don't like the idea of just coming at them from one flank, to be honest. If I can separate them, find a weak spot, I think that's the best way to go. I'm going to take a bit of a gamble and split the force. One going right, one going left, and keep the infantry platoon in reserve. So join me again when I have everything set up. And welcome back. Now we have a setup. We have highlighted the H Company HQ weapons, using the 105s to hit the town quite severely, hopefully. There has been a change of plan, as I've realised that the 60mm mortars do not have smoke, so it would basically be suicide crossing this open ground. There's a two-storey building there that could fire into the field, so that is not a good idea. So what I'm gonna do, thinking in terms of, if we can get back to the start, pushing a platoon across this wheat field, get all the way back. So it will be 3rd platoon moving at first, and then scouts hunting across the wheat field. I have a couple of machine gun jeeps that are going to be following up, providing a bit of quick fire support. And once 3rd platoon is completely across, then I'll bring up the I'll start to bring up the 30 cal machine guns, and also behind those the mortars. Mortars don't seem to have a controlling HQ, so I'm not sure how they're going to work. They seem to have to be within command and control radius of whichever HQ is calling them in, so I'm going to have to bring them quite a bit further forward than I'd ideally like. In the centre, there's an awful lot of congestion here. A lot of ammo bearers, all with 30 cal ammunition. Now we have 1st platoon HQ, which I'm going to push into these buildings. So 3rd platoon will dominate from the right, hopefully. 1st platoon will seize these first buildings, and the reserve platoon, 2nd platoon, will go wherever it is most advantageous for them to go. They may well pass through 1st platoon, or go past them and seize these first buildings here, and then go left or right, depending. We've got about 30 minutes to do that. 15 minutes in, the 105 is going to fall on the town entrance, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. I have to say, up against a company of infantry expected, most likely going to be anti-tank guns, Panzerschrecks, maybe a Sturmgeschütz or two. We're getting tanks later, so I'm assuming that some sort of armour will appear around the intersection. So that is the setup, and hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you again for the first series of turns.